Now, warming up for this video, I've just done something that I've never done before. So look at these numbers from TrackMan. 0 path, 0 face, the perfect straight shot. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't trying that, but I'm going to show you a drill that I grew up with that helped me improve really quickly. But I've actually just figured out that if I'd have done it how I'm going to show you in today's video, I'd have got better even quicker. And the good news is you can do this too. So growing up, I am of an age that Nick Faldo was the world #1 golfer, and I used to love watching him, watched all his kind of coaching videos, DVDs, giving my age away again. And basically it was that from address, we got full wrist hinge, turn to the top, and then swing down. And like I said, it was incredible for me, but certainly when I did that drill, I'd rehearse the wrist hinge, turn to the top, swing through. And then when I got that feel in the golf swing, I definitely saw a big shape from right to left. And obviously with the use of tech now, I can see that my path was a tiny bit from the inside, which is fine, but the club face was very, very closed at impact. And that was very much my shot as a kid, big right to left, so I'd aim further right and get that feel. And it was definitely one of those, and HackMotion that I'm using in this video just highlighted something that I kind of was aware of as a kid, that kind of when I did the preset and swung to the top, how my wrist would be quite extended at the top, meaning that club face is a little open, and it'd mean on the way down I'd have to really try and rotate the club face a lot through impact. And then obviously as I did that, if I did it just the right amount, it was a baby draw. If I did it too much, it was a big hook. And if I didn't do it at all, it was a pushy one. So it was really hard, but even though I had that inconsistency, I felt that as a general rule, working on that really helped me hit a lot of very, very good golf shots, just like that one. So when I noticed that on the HackMotion app, there's now the Faldo drill, boy was I excited. So I thought, good chance for me to see just how good this drill is, but how it helped me improve. So we pick it, we start the drill, pick irons and hybrids, and then we go to address, and I'm kind of going to just run through how I would have done it and see what this says on the app. So I get myself into address, perfect, go for that full wrist hinge, says I'm too hinged, and go to the top, way too much wrist hinge in there. Now, interestingly, when I do that and I come to the top, that's kind of very much me getting the club back to parallel, but I can definitely feel how that wrist joint is kind of a little bit extended, therefore that club face just a tiny bit open. And it's not horrendous, but it definitely made me get that old feel as to what kind of works, but I didn't love. So then we go into address position. I go to that little wrist hinge, go to the top, and that feels very different. So it definitely feels like there's a flatter wrist, but certainly there, we can see that the club's pointing more up to the sky rather than getting really, really back to parallel. And that feels very, very different for me. So I do a few of those where I get at address, get back, swing to the top, and it's great because I can get that feedback from the app. And it's interesting because definitely for me, that feels like that if I'm decent on the way back, it feels like to get the club further back, I've actually got to turn my body more. So very much if I'm going to get at address, get back. So definitely I'm getting the length of the backswing from rotating the body more as opposed to the body stopping and my wrists kind of collapsing to get the club to the top. So once I do a few of those, and it does feel very different, it kind of made me even think a little bit about when I see Scotty Scheffler at the top of the backswing, definitely looks as though the club is a bit more up to the sky rather than getting all the way there. So once I've done a few, it's great on the app. You can get that bit of feedback. Then the key is, can I get that feel in my actual swing? And it's great. Okay, it's still drawing, but we can see there, club face, incredibly neutral. Okay, path 2 degrees out to in, but I don't mind that. So a very shapeless shot, very quick and great carry at 171. And like I said at the start of the video, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that drill was massive for me as a kid growing up, but it actually shows that maybe I wasn't doing the drill quite correctly. But back in those days, we didn't have this kind of technology. And that's what I love as a coach, is you can have something, you can rehearse that, you can get that at address, you can get into where you feel halfway, make the swing, and we know that you're practicing correctly. Because remember, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Perfect practice makes perfect. So if you get there again, I can set myself up, I know what I'm trying to feel. Again, felt great, lots of speed, definitely more neutral with the delivery of the club and therefore a straighter shot. And the big thing for me with golfers is I showed the 0-0 at the start. I'll be honest, I never chase 0-0. I'm not trying to hit the ball straight. But I know for me, the more I have to manipulate through the bottom, or not manipulate, it's where I become a little inconsistent. And I definitely feel that with that correctly done, and I definitely feel there that with the correctly done Faldo drill, I can really start getting a good feel. And certainly with how I would move my body at the moment, it just feels great. Feels like it's a very straight shot and like my hands aren't really involved in the impact. But it was interesting because the one thing it did show me is that when I do it well, I'm here. Now, if I can then get a bit more rotation of my body, can I still maintain that neutral delivery? And really, that should just generate a little bit more speed. Oh, and there it is, 90 mile an hour club speed. Path and face under 1 degree. I mean, face incredibly good. And just an incredible golf shot. And then I love the fact that even though I've kind of hit a couple of shots there, so it's just taken my numbers down, I can see how consistent I've been, whether I've been in the range, when I've been too hinged. And it's then a case of I can monitor that practice and get better and better at it. But really, love that Faldo drill, loved it. Takes me back, let's say, over 35 years to something I used to do as a kid. And it did get me good quickly. But had I been able to do it correctly, as this is showing, maybe, just maybe, I'd have been hitting more shots like that and less of those big swingy draws and those blocks. And if you can do that, we're going to get you hitting it longer and straighter than ever before.